So, when we get to division with radicals, division requires an integer in the denominator. So, to arrive at that, either multiply the radical in the denominator by itself if it is alone, or multiply by the conjugate. I have also found sometimes that it's easier to factor and then cancel, but that's not as common. This action is called rationalizing. So, if we only have a square root in a denominator, we can eliminate it by multiplying by itself. And notice when you do that, you have to do both numerator and denominator. Why? Because if you don't, you're not multiplying by 1. So then this would give you square root of 3 over, this would be square root of 9, but square root of 9 is 3. So notice when you multiply it by itself, you end up with what's inside the radical. Okay, so now let's look as what happens. So let's look at another example. 7 over square root of 7. Cannot have that in the denominator, so we have to multiply by itself and have to do the same thing to the numerator. Okay, that's multiplying by 1, gives me 7 square root of 7. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is just 7. 7 divided by 7 cancels, and you're left with square root of 7 over 1, which is square root of 7. Okay, let's look at another one. Square root of 7 over square root of 6. Again, multiply both top and bottom by the denominator. Okay? Square root of 6 times square root of 6 leaves you with 6 in the denominator. Square root of 7 times square root of 6 is going to give you square root of 42, and that does not simplify. So that is what you're left with. Okay? Let's look at another one. 3 square root of 2 over square root of 11. Again, multiply top and bottom by that square root of 11. That is going to give me 11 in the denominator, 3 2 times 11 gives you square root of 22. And that does not simplify any more than that. It is finished. Negative 5 over square root of 24. Now, I can simplify that. Square root of 24 is 4 times 6. Square root of 4 is 2. So this is 2 square root of 6, negative 5 on top. Now, let's multiply top and bottom by square root of 6, because that'll get rid of that, giving me negative 5 square root of 6 on top, and 2 times 6 on the bottom gives you negative 5 square root of 6 over 12. Okay, let's look at another one. The negative of the square root of 5 over 12 equals the negative of the square root of 5 over the square root of 12. Well, this is 4 times 3. Square root of 4 is 2 square root of 3 and negative square root of 5. Now, we need to get rid of that square root of 3. Multiply top and bottom by that square root of 3. And that's going to give me 2 times 3 on the bottom minus square root of 15 gives you negative square root of 15 over 2 times 3, which is 6. Now we're going to look at binomials. And first of all, let's just look at writing conjugates of these binomials. Okay? So, if you're given 4 plus square root of 3, the conjugate of that would be 4 minus square root of 3. The only difference is the plus there and the minus there. And 6 minus square root of 5, the conjugate is 6 plus square root of 5. As you see, everything stays the same. The only thing that differs is the sign between the two terms, okay? So now let's look at using the conjugate to simplify one of these. So you have 3 over 4 plus square root of 5. So now we're going to have to multiply times the conjugate. 4 minus square root of 5, 4 minus square root of 5 equals, okay, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times negative square root of 5 is minus 3 square root of 5. In the denominator, what do we have? We don't need to multiply the whole thing out, because remember, those two middle terms disappear. So 4 times 4 is 16 minus square root of 5 times square root of 5 is square root of 25. So this becomes 16 minus square root of 25 is 5. So now we have 12 minus 3 square root of 5 over 16 minus 5, which is 11. Okay, let's look at another one. We'll do several of these so you'll get comfortable with them. Square root of 8 over 3 minus the square root of 2. Okay, again, we have to multiply by the conjugates. This is 3 minus, so it's 3 plus square root of 2. Do the same up here, 3 plus square root of 2. Radical 8 times 3 is 3 square root of 8. Radical 8 times radical 2 is plus radical 16. Okay, over. 3 times 3 is 9, minus square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. And so that will be 9 minus 2, giving you 7 in the denominator. 8 would be 4 times 2, so that would be, pull a 2 out, giving you 3 times 2 times the square root of 2. So I have 6 square root of 2, plus the square root of 16 is 4. And it can't be simplified anymore, so that's as simple as it gets. Let's look at another one. How about this one? 12 over square root of 6 plus square root of 3. Okay, again, got to do the conjugate here. So this will be square root of 6 minus square root of 3. And then square root of 6 minus square root of 3. Okay, 12 times square root of 6 minus 12 times square root of 3 over. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 is 6. Minus square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. So this gives me 3, 12 square root of 6 minus 12 square root of 3 over 3. Notice 3 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 12. 1, 4, 4. So this equals 4 square root of 6 minus 4 square root of 3 over 1, which we don't need to write.